Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is the Road to the Record, where we work to achieve mastery of 10 games in a hunt for the best score of the Decathlon. If you like what you see, remember to hit that like button. And if you want to see more, hit subscribe. Let the games begin. This is Europa Universalis 4. This is episode number 6. In our last episode, we lost more than half of our empire thanks to nothing more than a reform. In reforming, it brought them back, and it didn't make them our vassal or anything, so we're kind of right back where we were near the start of the game. We had a rebel problem, which we have now dealt with, but we are only just starting to recover our overall manpower, and we need to see how many more troops can we support. 2 more. Alright, so we're going to have to try to get those, because we will, here in a couple years, start going after our neighbors who are all fighting each other right now, trying to claim Itza primarily, but it's all turned it into one major war. Alright, well, let's go ahead and get the first of 2 divisions on the go, regiments. When exactly does our truce expire? September of 85, so we've got a ways to go. I'm actually going to speed time up for a little bit so we can get there. Hot embers and cold evil. It is customary that men walk over a bed of glowing embers that represents the fires of the underworld to ward off evil during the year. But the smell of sizzling feet is not attractive. If my heir does it, we'll get our legitimacy back up to 100. We'll lower the stability cost, or I could do it for 5 prestige. And the same effect. Well, let the heir do it, get that stability up. Or legitimacy back to 100. Alright, well, right now we could already deal with nearly both of our neighbors. There we go. Hey, our heir. Tech cost -5, that's huge. Alright, it looks like Kitschy just had a stack wipe. Zapotec is definitely the stronger of the 3 right now. And have they... Oh, they became a vassal in that war. That's why Kitschy is fighting Zapotec right now. So we're going to have our own war with them soon enough. And we do finally have Tech 3. So we are finally a 3-3-3 this far into the game. We're going to be discovered here before too long. Let's see. How are you doing on unrest? We're good now. So we're gonna head on down here. Actually, maybe down here if this is still going on. Looks like our neighbor Kitschy's gonna really suffer from this. Okay, growth of the administration. As the state and its bureaucracy grow, there is an ever-growing need of people to oversee the administrative and administrate various lands and functions. Nobility have traditionally been more associated with military services to the state, but have increasingly made it clear that they still expect to be first in line when government offices are being handed out. Merchant guilds and other hand claim that the nobility considers such appointments as mere rewards, and will use them only to enrich themselves. Instead, the merchant guilds argue we should appoint men out of individual merit. The unexpected death of a trusted secretary has left a vacant position to be filled at the center of this conflict, with the merchant guilds supporting one candidate and the nobility expecting us to pick another one. Both candidates are talented men. This has to be a political decision. Alright, well, nobility is low on us right now. But this would make the merchants extremely low. Nobility would take a massive hit here. Or turn to the clergy instead. Again, massive hit for the nobility. I guess we could take the massive hit on the nobility and try to do something to recover. At least from this we get global trade power. And the diplomatic relations means absolutely nothing to us. Manpower recovery speed, of course. And land maintenance modifier. Okay, well, merchant guilds. What can we do from this? I'd like that one. Oh, but the influence is not high enough. Okay, well, what about down here? What can we do? We can get you back for 5 prestige. Alright. Wow, that almost got them back. Alright, looks like the war may have ended. No. Yes. War ended inconclusively, actually. A little over a year we'll be able to attack. They have 9 regiments combined to our 11. Ooh, there we go. Skill 1, yearly prestige, and 15. 50% cheaper. Okay. Let's see. Which advisor was that? There we go. Here is our super cheap advisor. Let's take it. Hey, improve our prestige. Okay. Manpower reserves need to recover. That's going to take a while. It's recovering very slow. And they're not going to like us anytime soon. So let's go for the manpower. This setback really worries me, especially when it's just 7-8 years before we make contact with the Europeans. Right now, they'd crush us. I mean, even with all of it, we'd still be in a position where they'd probably crush us. But with all of it, at least we'd have a little bit of a fighting chance. Enough that they wouldn't just automatically come after us. And our queen died. I have a 16-year-old son now, who's a decent 335, but it's only a weak claim. It's going to be at least 20 years before we can abdicate. We might just want to we might just want to turn our king into a general. Oh, there we go. It's September. We can also fabricate another claim. There we go. And let's do this. Looks like they're actually having a siege right now because haha, they're at war. All right, yeah, we're definitely going for this. Kalima is back here, right? Yeah, that's nothing. And if they're allied with Kalima, then something's changed in the situation back here. But we'll worry about that later. For now, we're gonna go kick butt and take this land back. So we're declaring war. We'll take this one. What's the difference here? Cost comes down. Okay, yeah, Confederation. But the capital might be a little difficult to take right now. Let's do it anyway. What? Enemy allies Kitchi. Really? They vassalized Kitchi? It didn't tell us anything about our alliance being broken. Well, thanks a lot. Okay, so the task's not quite as easy, but if they're having their capital siege down and nothing else is happening, then okay, well, we are going to go for the Confederation. Let's do it. If we lose this game, we lose this game. Oh, we already had this massive setback. We've got to be bold. Okay, we didn't get our manpower recovery. Yeah, I got it. Wow, they have 9,000 troops coming at us? Really? Because they have 15,000. So they were just standing by. Well, we stack wiped them real quick. We have the advantage here, but we're going to be seen as the aggressor on this, and we can't just back out. I know it's going to cost us, but I'd like a couple more mercenaries. Strengthen our chances. Alright, so we get the -1 penalty because we were in a siege, meaning we were not defending the territory. But we still should have the advantage. I don't see... They've got 0.1 morale more than we do. It's pretty level. And we had more troops by a couple thousand. So really we should have been in a good state. I didn't see the first dice rolls, but we're going to go slowly through this battle here and see what happens. As long as the dice rolls are there, we still have 1,500. 5-3, ouch, 2-9. And we're just about out of morale. It's definitely not stack wipe terrain. I don't think we're going to get the other 2,000 troops here in time. Though it would really make a big difference if we do, but it would also be devastating. It's going to take a really high roll to stay in. Oh, we're still in. Oop. Alright, meet it up here. Alright, they are still at war, so hopefully they take a little bit of a hit facing off with that army instead of just us. Alright, speed back up to 3. We still have the advantage, except for we just lost. Wow, a little surprised at how quickly they were able to get in the province when we couldn't get out of it, even though we left right away. Alright, so they're heading back over there, so we're going to head towards Kitchi. And they're staying put, huh? We still have the advantage, but we don't have much manpower, which is definitely going to hurt us. Let's deal with that 1,000 here. We're already committed. Oh, great. Here we go again. We have an advantage of 3,000, but really only 2,000 unless... Okay, good. We got that. They're already committed. We're stuck. Here we go again. Round 2. Boy, our morale did not recover very well there. Come on, a couple decent rolls. One good roll, one good roll. Yes! Alright. We needed that. Where... Oh my goodness. Kalima got access through, even though they're bitter enemies? And at war. How does that work? They're only at war with us. There's no way Mixtech's going to give them military access, though. That makes no sense whatsoever. And we're not going to be able to get out of here. There's no way that Kalima makes it through here. I mean, they're enemies with Terrascan and Teutonic, but they're not enemies. I don't see why Mixtech would give them military access at all. We're about to get our butt kicked here. And I'm still going to be seen as the invader again. Okay, we get the -1. Still can't. There we go. Now we're down to 3,000 troops. And have no manpower. So we're at 4,000 now. We're going to have to try to get into Mixtech or something. They're coming after us. Well, this game just went from bad to worse. This goes back to that reform and poor decisions since then. I didn't think this through apparently that well. I should have checked on Kalima, but I knew that Mixtech and Kalima hated each other. And now all of a sudden they don't. So now they've got 18,000 troops, and yet they're getting their butts kicked by Mixtech and are not interested in us at all. Oh, wait. No. Switch that. They're not interested in them at all. They are only interested in us. Oh, of course, they decided to join. This is suicide. I'm in full suicide mode now. I get -1 in my own territory. See, I don't understand how that works. Stack wipe, goodbye. It's over. This makes absolutely zero sense on why it is that they are already at war, but yet they're not interested in fighting. The one that they're at war with just gives them gives the neighbor that they don't like free military access. And then going back to the reform, why would we lose half of our territory to reform? Paradox. What is up with that mechanic? That makes zero sense. Why we'd lose half of our territory to do a simple military reform? Why isn't there a warning that that's going to happen or something? There's no way I would have done that knowing that was the case. This game's going to be over here. I mean, there's now nothing we can do. You're going to take away more of my land. There's nothing. Alright, well, I'm totally dumbfounded here. There's nothing I can do, nothing I can offer them right now that they want. And it says they don't want part of the offer, but then it's things they want. So, we're going to round things out. Looks like we're about to be destroyed by game mechanics, frankly, I do not understand. How it is, how they're at war with Mixtech, that Mixtech would give military access. Well, it's looking like this might be our final episode on this round. This was already an impossible situation that I was actually doing really well with until it instantly took away half our nation. And then we have an apparent opportunity to reclaim some of that. And I didn't pay close enough attention. I made the mistake of not realizing that they took Kitchi as a vassal, at adding them to the mix, but despite that, we were fine. It was the Kalima part. Kalima, from all the way over here, joins the war, and then they're at war with both of these nations. These guys would not give them military access. Now, how it is that Kalima doesn't decide to join into this war with them, but does decide to join into the war with us, and then somehow actually gets military access through here, through the enemies of that war, just makes no sense. None. None, none, none. And how Zapotec, no interest whatsoever in engaging with the enemy that they already have. We had more troops than they had, yet they came right after us. Right after us. Well, we're just about done here. Let's speed it up. Bring about our demise. There we go. Klima has sieged us down. Now we're at minus 99%. Still can't even do anything. One province remains. Our world is about to come to an ugly, ugly end. Okay, and there it is. So they took everything. They took the money that they didn't want. They took all the stuff they didn't want. And we have 4 provinces left. All because of, Well, I made mistakes too. I can't blame it all on that reform. But clearly, considering that they didn't exist, in fact, I already conquered them, and then through that silly reform that provided no information, we get our demise. Well, you know what? That does it. I'm gonna call defeat. I have been utterly defeated. So I'm conceding this one. It's just a few years before. We're nowhere near getting the points. So I'm going to call that the end of this round. I'm going with my tail between my legs. And I'm going to accept that I'm beaten here. Because I truly just got my butt handed to me. And I have nothing left to rebuild from. I've got no army. I've got nothing but enemies around me. And Zapotek, who was and is getting their butt kicked, comes out of nowhere and just levels me. So, an unfortunate end to the round, but we'll be starting a new one in our next episode. So, with sadness consuming me, that does it for this episode. I am Decathlon Gamer, and remember, I'm aiming for the best of the best. So if you're ready to join me on my journey, hit subscribe, and tune in next time on my road to the record.